Welcome back everyone. I consider not making this video as there are almost no updates, but I came to a conclusion that it's significantly going to affect the development of the pedal, so I think it is worth to talk about it. Last time I said I was going to spend this month assembling and testing the latest two modules. Unfortunately, this only partially happened. And it's also the reason why I decided to change the way I'm going to prototype from now on. You might not know, but this Eurorack Prototype is not the first prototype of the pedal. Firstly I built this one, and then I made a prototype only for the files. And right before making the Eurorack one, I started this other one that I never even finished. So what's the issue with the Eurorack one? Well, the first one is the assembly method, as I've been soldering everything by hand, and it took me way too long. Additionally, if we look at the ladder filter, only half of it is working, and since it's made of two identical halves, it means I've made a mistake soldering it, and I'm not really in the mood of resoldering one from scratch. This is also because I'm doing all the soldering in the conservatory, in between classes, so if I don't manage to finish something, I might have to wait a week or more before I can work on it again, and that's why I still have quite some things to solder. One logical solution would be to order assembled PCBs, and it's what I'm going to do. But since they're going to be more expensive, I don't want to have a prototype made of lots of PCBs, but just a few. In the main unit I can put the input and output buffer, the mixer, and the envelope follower, as I don't think I'm gonna change them. I could also add the power supply as well, and this could be already a good starting point, but I would like to add all the digital parts as well. Before I thought the digital part could be the last thing to do, as it can be programmed and changed easily, but I no longer think it's the best approach, as I had to develop modules that can be controlled by passing the digital part, and it's not a representative scenario of what I want to do. At the moment I have two digital modules, the Arduino carrier and the digital pot one, that I've never used. For the microcontroller I won't use an Arduino, but just the chip itself, so that I can access all its pins. And for the digital pods I might be able to get the 10-bit ones through the assembly service, and I can later program them to behave as 8-bit ones, so that I can test if I can go with the cheaper ones. Additionally, you can see that on those boards there are some solder pads to configure them in different ways. Needless to say, I've never touched them, so I won't probably have them in this new version. But if I really want to have them, I will change them with switches, so that I don't have to go to the conservatory to change them. If you've been following the project for a long time, you know there's another part that should be digitally controlled, which is the Metalix mixer. In its current state it can't be digitally controlled, but it's made so that it can be configured in two different ways, and I've ordered external switches to make another version configured in the other way. But since I want to make this newer prototype, I'm not sure I'm gonna make it, but I still want to test those two configurations, so the Metalix mixer will probably be removable even in the new prototype, but completely digitally controlled. Now that I've discussed all these features, the only thing missing is the form factor. Another issue with this prototype is that it takes up a lot of space, so I will probably move away from the Eurorack standard, as I also don't need it to be fully modular. The idea is that it's going to have a main board, then a smaller board with the Metalix mixer on top, on which the fuzz and the filter boards can be installed. The interface is going to be separated just like now, with a ribbon cable to connect it to the main board, but it's not going to have any active electronics, whereas now it has a shifter register and some transistors. Everything will then be enclosed in a structure made of aluminum extrusions and plastic or metal sheets. I would like it to be quite small, like 25 cm by 10, and maybe have it taller. The idea is that this prototype should have the hardware as close as possible to the final unit, and not being focused on being modular and universal. Of course the main board can be used to make other projects, but I don't want to invest time in order to make it more versatile than it needs to be. So what's now? Well, I started defining all the pins and connections between the microcontroller and the other digital part, but I would also like to test the multifunction jack before committing to a design. So in the next months I'll focus on the development of this new platform, and not so much on the development of the effects. And I know it's frustrating to see that this project is not really moving forward, but I think this restart is very much needed. So I hope you want to stay for this new development, and please let me know what you think or what you would do. So see you next time. Ciao!